Yeah, we back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Click and Cliff. This is Beyond Click and Cliff channel, not Click and Cliff. This is the podcast channel where you can come hang out with me and I can tell you life experiences, life stories, something that happens to me, and maybe I'll tell you a story. Maybe you'll laugh, joke, or say, "Yay, that's awesome," or something to keep you entertained. This is something for you to listen to while you work, clean house, doing whatever you're doing. Having me on in the background is to help you through a little bit part of that. Hopefully you all enjoying this. I do appreciate each and every one of y'all that has came and supported me on this channel and watching my podcast. You guys are amazing. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and get into it. Last week we kind of talked about, what did we talk about? What did we talk about last week? Anybody remember? I believe we talked about yeah, we're gonna go look because I forget. Week to week, I always forget what we do. I shouldn't be that way. Oh, is it summer yet? Because it's been hot. 100-degree weathers, man. It's been hot. So yeah. But anyway, we the last podcast it was summer yet. Of course, you can always go back on and watch that as we go. All right. Well, guys, this this week, I kind of want to talk about a fishing trip that never was. I may have told you this story a long time ago when I first started this, but I want to tell you it again because the other day I was watching a YouTube channel and they were fishing. And anybody that knows me knows I like to fish. It's like my second hobby. So so that's what I want to talk to you about today. I don't know. I think it's back. I just turned 16 years old, and it was summertime. And me and one of my friends decided we want to go fishing. So that morning, he spent the night at my house, and we got up at 4 o'clock that morning and packed his truck uh, with our fishing poles, fishing tackle. Went out back, dug up some worms. Got a cooler of ice, put some drinks and a picnic lunch in there. Sandwiches, chips, some water, and I think we had some sodas in there. Uh, Loaded everything up in the truck, and we took off. We took off, like I said, around. Well, I think we finally left the house around 5. Mom made us breakfast, uh, and of course we had to sit there and listen to my dad tell his fish stories. Like you're having to hear mine, or choosing to hear mine. But we went and got in the truck and started heading down. Now, where I used to live, I lived in the Ozarks of Missouri at this time. Anybody that lives around there, especially when you go down, there's a lake called Table Rock and James River that feeds Table Rock Lake. Anybody been down that area knows that it's the hills of Missouri. A lot of curvy roads. I knew a couple of spots. He knew a couple of spots, but he talked to one of his old friends, and they drew us a map supposed to be to an awesome fishing site. Drew us a map. So I don't know if you ever, around this is towards the Branson side of the Table Rock Lake. Anybody know what Branson is? Branson is a tourist attraction town in Missouri. It has a bunch of shows and stuff to do for a family vacation, but it also has a lake that's right by it. So plenty of things to do down there. But give us a map. Of course, like I said, we were 16, guys. Just keep that in mind. We didn't have very many driving skills. It took us about 45 minutes to get down towards the lake. We get down there. Of course, we stopped, got gas. We picked up a candy bar or whatever, something to munch on as we drove towards the lake. Like I said, these roads were curvy. I mean, they're S curves back to back. There was no straightaway. And like I said, guys, keep in mind, we were only 16. We were dumb. We thought we knew how to drive, but we didn't. What do you think we were doing on these curvy roads? I mean, I gave you the clues. The guy drew us a map. So, passenger guy who was supposed to read the map. And that's what I was doing. I was doing perfectly. I was telling him where to turn, what roads to take, what town to head for. I was doing perfect. We got further down, and like, man, we ought to be getting close. We didn't know, and I was looking. I said, well, by this map, we're supposed to be pretty darn close to this spot where we're supposed to go fishing. What does he do? He grabs the map and starts looking. I know where we are. I said, sweet. Didn't think anything of it. We were driving still, reading the map. Kind of like being on your phone and driving, you're not supposed to do. Well, we were reading the map and driving. Only guess you know what's going to happen next. We looked at the map. We folded the map back up. We were looking for a spot to put the stupid map. Now, we could just put it on the seat. I don't know what we were doing. But we both looked up, and there was a culvert sign right there in our face. And boy, we hit this culvert, went airborne. We missed the telephone pole by that much. Jaws me out. Of course, we weren't wearing seatbelts. That's another subject we won't be talking about today. Went flying. We at that time I thought we were fine. Of course, it was hot. It was summertime. We get out of the truck, and his front axles in the back of us. I mean, it ripped his axle off the bottom of his truck. I mean, we had, anybody know what a culvert is? It's a tube underneath the road, and some has a concrete like barrier above the road, and that's what we hit. Dead on. And we were scared. We sat there for a minute. We got out, looked at the damage, and we made sure we were okay. My friend was pretty good. He checked in on me. He asked me, he made sure I was okay, and I made sure he was okay, and we were. I thought anyway. We got out looking, and of course, this is back before cell phones. Okay, we didn't have a cell phone. And of course, being down there, there's houses scattered far apart, not close. It wasn't town. It wasn't a town. It was in the country. So we're going to go. We're going to go walk. So luckily, there was a mechanic, like a little shop, sitting there, and luckily there was a guy in there, and we walked in there, and we knocked on the door. He opened it up, and he saw our truck. He goes, "You guys got problems, huh?" I said, "Yeah, can we use your phone?" Of course, he neighborly person. He said, "Yeah, go ahead. Y'all need a police officer?" We called the police. He goes, "I guess." We didn't. Only damage we did was to the state road, but we figured, well, it might better have a cop come. So the sheriff of the county came and sitting there, and he looked at us. He goes, "Were y'all wearing a seatbelt?" And we weren't going to lie. We just said no. We're not wearing a seatbelt, and so therefore he of course gave him a ticket. Well, it wasn't the law back then, but he gave a ticket for speeding and reckless driving. I'm sure we were going on the speed limit. We called our parents, and of course, we called his parents. I didn't call mine. They came, got us, took us back to my house, and I walked in, and Told my mom and dad what happened. Of course, they were concerned about me and all that stuff, and I was still okay. I thought. Um, Later on that night, my friend, my parents went. We went over to one of my parents' friends' house for the evening to have dinner and hang out, and started hurting a little bit. My neck started getting a headache, and I went to my mom. I said, I'm not feeling too good. Asked her if I can go home, if you all can take, they can take me home. I wasn't feeling good, and my mom was, what's wrong? And I told her, said my neck was hurting, I got a headache, starting to come in, and just kind of queasy to my stomach, and so mom got dad, and we didn't go home. She took me to the hospital. We went to the ER and sat there all night. I was so disgusted. I did not want to be there. Beds were uncomfortable, but I had an X-ray and I had a whiplash and concussion. Um, Nothing. They didn't want me to sleep, so kept me awake. Got home finally, and when I'm allowed to go to sleep. They just told my parents, watch over me. If I do fall asleep, go check on me. Don't, in case something would happen. Because they said they took me for the X-ray. Nothing seemed broken, just a whiplash and concussion. I kind of figured that because where the windshield of the truck was, there was a big old spider web, and it was right where my head hit. And everybody said I had a hard head. It caused some damage that day. So the next day, I talked to Dad. I woke up. He was sitting there having coffee. I walked in there, and he started asking me questions about it. And of course, I told him the story like I just got done telling you guys. And he just looked at me and goes, "You all needed to stop the truck and look at the map." No, don't. I said, "Dad, I know." After I know, you know, I it was an accident. My mom got scared, of course. And, you know how moms can get. They can get a little excited when their little baby boy is hurt or something wrong. They're all concerned and start having preach. Well, I call them preaching at me, but they're just trying to teach me life lessons that I should have listened to before. But no, did I? Nope. So therefore, that's what we get. So my advice is, if you're on your phone and driving, don't be on your phone while you drive. Pay attention to what you're doing because accidents can happen, and they do. Trust me, my whole career as a firefighter, I worked more vehicle accidents than I did anything, and a lot of the vehicle accidents could have been stopped. Because they say I was on my phone, I was looking at something and looked up, and changing the radio station. So yeah, things happen. Accidents are going to happen. That's what happens when accidents happen. But yeah, I mean, I broke my fishing pole. I had to get a new fishing pole. My fishing lures was everywhere, so it was just a total mess. But later that evening, I started getting feeling better, and then, of course, my you know the my friend's insurance agent came by, and he wanted to settle, and I didn't know anything about it, so my dad kind of helped me out there. He sat there with the insurance guy of my friends and started feeling guilty. Like, man, this one. I did not want to do it. I told Dad, I said, I don't want, you know, just tell him I'm fine. Everything's fine. We got it. We're good. And my dad's, trying to explain to me, a 16-year-old boy, that my friend's not going to get, it's not coming out of his pocket. He's already paid in his insurance. Is what he's paying for already to cover your medical bills and stuff. And I'm like, but that, I felt that it was wrong. I don't want to take the money from him. He's my friend. He's hurt just as bad as I am. I mean, he lost his truck. His truck, not mine, his. And I don't want, Dad had to sit there and explain it to me. He goes, this is what you pay insurance for. That's why you pay insurance. If it was in your truck and this would happen, your insurance would cover his medical bills and and stuff like that. That's what insurance is for. That's why you pay your monthly payment is for this. In my mind, I was thinking that, wait, all this money is gonna come out of his pocket, the doctor's bills and all that. It was all gonna come out of his wallet. But no, back then, the insurance paid for it. So they ended up paying my doctor bills and uh, and time of suffering is what they called it. So I felt bad and called my friend up and told him what happened. And he said, "No, man, do what you have to do." I just felt bad. I didn't know how all that worked when I was young. So now it was a learning lesson. Now I know not to drive and look at a map. Stop the truck, look at a map if I need to look at a map or my phone for directions. Hey guys, that was my podcast of the fishing trip that never was. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. I'm going to leave this with you today. Remember, guys, be somebody's light and somebody's darkest cloud. Somebody could be having a horrible day, like I did fishing. That never was. Could be suffering. And a hello from you could make my day a whole lot better. You could do that for somebody else, that would be awesome. Do unto others the way you want done to yourself. Be respectful. If you're nice to somebody, odds are they're going to be nice right back to you. Guys, until the next one, take care.